Let's be honest, most of us in this room are probably guilty of overthinking our creative. You know, we're throwing 12 creatives, 6 CTAs, 3 colour palettes and multiple paragraphs of brand story and trying to force it into one ad and then wondering why, it just isn't right. Our next speaker built a brand by doing the exact opposite. He's a co-founder of Dad Gang, a movement turned brand that proves your creative doesn't need to be complex to be powerful. Through simple storytelling, authenticity and design that actually connects, Bart turned a clear message into a community and a business that resonates worldwide. Today, he's here to remind us that sometimes less is more and it works. So take a breath, clear your mental canvas and help me welcome to Creative Con stage, Bart Szaniewski.
What's up, everybody? This is Bart from Dad Gang. I'm one of the co-founders of the brand, and I'm super excited to be here with you today at Creative Con. And I'm here to talk about the simplicity of creative. Just a little quick background on myself. I've worked in D2C, marketing, social media, digital media for the past 15 years or so. And I used to be the VP of marketing, director of marketing, head of marketing for various companies. And then I was the head of growth at an agency in LA for over 30 brands in 2 years. So really got to see the lay of the land around lots of different products, from apparel to supplements, from to skincare and beauty. But I've always found my way back to apparel, and so it makes sense why I'm now in headwear. But yeah, one of the co-founders of Dad Gang Co. We started just a little over 3 years ago with 100 hats in my garage with my pregnant wife, and we all had full-time jobs, the three of us as co-founders, and just wanted to change the way fatherhood was looked at on social media. We got a little tired and annoyed of seeing just like mowing the lawn, dad bod, kind of funny comedy stuff about dads. And as we became fathers and took on this new role, we realized, hey, being a dad isn't just funny. It's a lot more than that. It's emotional. It's stressful. It's it's a lot to take on and take on this new identity. And so we started Dad Gang. We wanted to make an incredible hat, high quality A-frame snapback that isn't corny and doesn't say number one dad on it or world's best dad or dad bod on it. Something that you can wear on a daily basis and something that can represent fatherhood for you and represent the community of dads that love the brand. And so we started the brand very simply, just by making those 100 hats and making very simple content about it daily. I believe our first post was just a hat in my hand, shot in portrait mode on an iPhone, and with a caption around like, here's why we're starting this brand. And we got lucky in a sense where in the beginning, a lot of friends and family supported the brand. We made those 100 hats, and the 100 hats sold out in less than 36 hours, which was awesome. Very appreciative for that first boost of support. But at the same time, we didn't think, here's a big business play for us. It was like, okay, 100 sold. This isn't life-changing. Let's just keep making them and see what happens. We still kind of carry that mantra to this day. Let's make something and see what happens. We don't like to put a ton of stress on the business or a ton of pressure on the business if it's not necessary. We were fortunate and lucky enough to have jobs and build something at the same time. So we just kept going, kept making hats and kept posting on Instagram and as organic as possible, portrait mode photos, some videos of a hat moving around in your hand, and just writing captions that had to do with being a father, being a new father, how to take on the role, what struggles you deal with, what triumphs you celebrate, and all these other things. So for us, it's always been about the simplistic approach to everything we do, and especially creative. So any creative you've ever seen from Dad Gang is all created by me. 95% of all things that we've put out have been shot on an iPhone, and then I am obsessed with Canva and CapCut. I think if you can learn those 2 tools, which are very easy to learn. They have their own built-in guides on how to use them. Honestly, if you took like 3 days, 2 hours a day to learn these platforms and use them to your advantage, you'd be in a much better place than somebody that has no idea what to do with them, and somebody that spends hours in Premiere editing the most perfect video. So I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about removing the complexity out of creative and the pressure behind it. I was just at a founders forum thing in New York, and that was one of the questions I got asked pretty often is, where do you put creative as a priority? I personally put it as number 1 when it comes to our brand, because 1, I hold myself to a standard of posting every single day. If I miss a post, I get a little anxious, but posting every single day, and that does not mean posting the perfect post. Literally, I'm in one of our creative studios right now that we rent for $250 a month and hop into whenever we want to shoot. But I think it's more about shooting anything and posting anything than posting the perfect thing. And I'll get into that a little bit also. Our first few posts, we only had 3 samples. We only had 1 trucker hat to post. And what did I do? I took that 1 trucker and exhausted all creative potential. I would shoot a video of the hat in frame and then me playing with my kids in the background. I would hang it on a string and have it spinning from a pole in my backyard. I would put it on top of a car and shoot it that way on a fence post in the grass in good lighting. And just that simple approach of, here's my product, the customer, we want them to want that product, so I need to shoot it in different formats, but not in a complex way. So portrait mode, cinematic mode, regular photo, regular video, and then take those assets and put them into a Canva or a CapCut. The beauty with CapCut these days is that with these AI enhancements they've put into the platform is, I can be here today in this little studio, shoot 5 different hats in 5 different angles, shoot them all on my phone as a video, and then tap AI Create on CapCut, and it'll give me 14 to 20 different videos made instantly that I can use on my page that day. I think the thing that stops a lot of creators and a lot of brands from making content is the overthought of what the final product will look like, as if everybody's anticipating your post. At the end of the day, we have to understand that absolutely nobody cares. And that does sound pretty harsh. You care, it's your brand, it's your livelihood, it's your opportunity, and maybe your partners care and the people that are working with you on it. But outside of that, nobody cares. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but you need to approach your audience and your consumers that way when it comes to regular, daily, organic content, at least. I understand there's a bit more strategy in paid advertising content. That makes all the sense in the world. But when it comes to organic, just post. If you look at, it was a funny trend or observation recently, but Justin Bieber, for instance, posts every day on his page nonstop, and then people are kind of wondering, like, what's going on? Why is he posting so much all of a sudden? Is he going crazy? What's wrong with him? And then he drops 2 albums back to back and they do amazing, and he still continues this kind of presence on Instagram, but it's not perfect. It's not the most, Photoshop, super well curated post of him. It'll be like a blurry picture of him golfing, or a blurry picture of him in a studio, or just laughing, or it's so much less about posting the perfect thing. And especially today, I think we're a lot more fortunate than our parents were, and then don't even, get started on our grandparents. But we have these devices in our hands, and we have the ability to make a product that we think people might want. And then why would we hold back on putting that out into the world? I've shot, I spent 10 minutes today maybe doing some video and photo on my phone of some hats that we currently have. And later I'll throw them in a CapCut, and then later that'll be a post on our Instagram. That's the only thought that goes into it. And don't linger on your posts either. When you post something, I call it posting and ghosting. Post it, and let it live. Move on to the next thing you're working on. We tend to over worry about the things that we post on our page. Think about it, the likes, the comments, the reshares now, story posts and shares, does not matter. Just keep going. And then when it comes to the other side of things, when it comes to ads, I'm still within the same approach. For us, I understand it's simple. We make hats for dads. Our copy is very simple too. The best hat for dad. Dads love these hats. You'll want to collect these. Over 700,000 dads have purchased these hats. The copy behind that is fairly simple, and the photography and video behind that is also fairly simple, because if you look at our website, 3 years into this thing, we are still on the first free theme that Shopify offers you. Some people call me crazy for that, but I believe being a younger dad and kind of in our demo at the moment and knowing the chaotic life that new dads live, I don't think they necessarily need to land on a super complicated landing page that explains our hats and the stitching and the makeup of it and the stories. No, they saw a hat they want, says Dad Gang on it, it's only $35. They want to land on the website, and that's it. And they want to get the product, and we make that process super simple, from content to website to checkout to thank you email. So I believe that I kind of got this approach from when I was on the agency side of things. I worked on 30 different brands in 2 years, which was insane. But at the same time, I'm grateful for that experience, because I got to learn what not to do and what to not stress about. Like I mentioned before, we'd be in these meetings about creative, and the debating over what creative should go up, or the debating over what color should have, or fonts, or dimensions, and all these things is just kind of like, it drains the joy from building a brand, because you're just sitting there dissecting a post for the day or an ad for the day, and it drains the opportunity. I think if you keep posting at a high volume and taking shots on goal, you have a much better opportunity for success than if you sit there and overthink every single post. And nowadays too, with our ads approach, I'm still, some of the photos I've taken here at the studio today, I'll take those. If they have a clean, nice clean background on them, I'll throw some copy over it. Number one hat for dads, the best hats for dads, trusted by over 700,000 dads, and then add some maybe emotional quotes around fatherhood and the meaning behind it, those kind of things. It's still not going in and over stressing about every single little piece of content. And I do say that while understanding that not everybody has a simple apparel brand. I have worked for numerous supplement brands that do need a ton of education up front, but still I believe that the simplicity should be there. Say you have a supplement that helps with gut health. What is the simple message from that product, right? The simple message is, we make this amazing product that will help you have a healthier gut. Okay, what goes with that? Food and health and personal well-being and the way the supplement looks and the way you consume it. Why don't you make simple videos around explaining that stuff instead of, going to a studio and being super complicated with how the supplement pours out and spins in the water and all these things? I think people want you to get straight to the point these days, and people can also read through the super salesy tactics and all these things that brands are doing, where I think simplicity does sell and simplicity does generate trust, because you're not overproducing to drive a conversion. So I do understand some products do need more education on the front end. A supplement probably does need a landing page, but don't remove that simplicity from it just because you think or you saw some supplement that's funded $1 billion and has all the creative resources. I think starting small, starting organic, starting simple is is the way to do it, and don't remove the joy from creating. I think if you make some videos, hop into CapCut, hop into Canva, you'll find that the creation of assets is a lot simpler than we all think. I start my days by hopping on the laptop, after getting the kids to school and all that, and I immediately open Canva just to see if I've got some sort of creative inspiration that day. And if I don't, then I click on the templates tab, and it's just filled with different templates. And there's so many other platforms out there that help you do similar things. So yeah, it's hard for me to explain because I do keep it so extremely simple, but try to remove the stress from creative. Even not to get like too cheesy with it, but the first thing kids do once they're able to is draw and color and paint and glue, and creative is like the first fun human outlet that we kind of experience even at a young age. So don't take the joy out of it by overemphasizing perfection. I think we are at a point where it's so simple and it's easy to create. And just back to video really quickly too, as you build a brand, on accident, you're going to, with your phone, create an overflow of content, and never delete that stuff. I think people want to follow a story. People want to be able to jump in and experience what you've experienced building your brand. And especially with CapCut, you can hop into your camera roll, upload, the past 3 years of videos, and hit create AI video, and it'll make you a storyline of what you've built. And totally understanding that AI is kind of taking over and everybody's super excited about it, but I still believe we're still in this like phase 1.5 of AI and all of the things that it'll help us with, like Sora 2 coming out and creating these hyper realistic videos that it's hard to tell now what is real and what isn't. But move away from the fear of that and see how you can use it for your brand. We haven't done much on it. I've actually just done it for some PDP stuff. So we have a hat that has fire flames on the brim, and I've been able to take that and type into VO3, hey, why don't you make the flames on the hat actually light on fire, and put some fire around the hat and then bring it back down to original form. That stuff's been really fun, but other than that, I still appreciate the reality of a real video on your iPhone, real photo taken. And even today I was reading about how organic-esque posts are starting to really break through as an ad strategy for a lot of people. Because if you just think about it, most consumers, removed from marketing, removed from brand ownership, don't hop on to their social media platforms to see more ads. They want to see the organic stuff. They want to see the real stuff. So keep making that. Don't make crappy UGC. I think that's kind of like been done. But make content that you would normally post and see how that does, because that again is moving back to simpler times and removing the stress of perfection around things. A few other things, I use various creative tools, but mainly Canva for making emails. Every single email you've ever seen from Dad Gang has been designed by me. Same thing, tons of templates, tons of potential out there on how to create emails, text messages. We have an app now that I just create everything within there, but I don't think there's a lack of time or effort. It's just learn these tools that have been made so simple for you to create something new and cool on a daily basis, and try to hold yourself to that standard of, I'm not sure where your brand lives at the moment, but ours is dominantly Instagram, and some love on TikTok, but it's still Instagram's kind of our main channel. And I've just held myself to posting every single day, no matter what happens throughout that day. Just post, find find that 10 minutes to get a post up, tag your product, write a caption, and put up something you shot. But it's so important because one, the algorithm rewards it, but two, it keeps you practicing. And I don't think people realize that it's not just about posting every day and taking shots on goal for a sale. It keeps you practicing in a repetition where, if you suck at shooting a basketball, but you go shoot 100 shots every single day, you're probably going to get better at shooting a basketball, after a month or two. So same thing, get your reps in with posting. I think it helps. And especially if you are in the beginning or in the middle of a small brand, the opportunities are infinite because, once again, nobody cares and you're in the beginning of your build. So try things. If you post an AI generated video today and it doesn't do well, try a real, cinematic mode video tomorrow, or try something wacky. Try speaking into the camera, try throwing your product in the air and shooting it slow-mo. I did a thing recently where I put on some Meta glasses and walked around New York and gave away hats to dads on the street. 30 minutes of walking around and giving out hats, chopped it up in CapCut, spliced it into different sections, and is one of our best performing, most kind of well received videos we've ever made. But the effort around it was fairly low, but the impact of it was high just because we got good reactions. Dads were happy to get the hats, and it felt awesome to just kind of interact with dads and give away our product. So once again, as always in this whole talk, I really want to emphasize the simplicity, because the other aspects of business like operations and sales and retail and contracts and terms and all these things, those get complicated and stressful, and it's hard to keep that simple, although I think you should as much as possible. So keep the fun thing, the creative thing, the marketing, the branding, keep that simple for yourself, because stresses will come from out of nowhere. I wish I had more on this, but that is as simple as I keep things here. And as a perfect example, we have a hat coming out and some beanies in a couple days, and I'm just here shooting them on my iPhone. I'm going to get a ton of clips. I'm going to throw them straight into CapCut, and then from there, I'm going to make videos for that launch. I'm going to have a batch of photos for the email, for the app, for the website, and that's the effort. I'm not hiring a crew to do a massive shoot around it, and nothing against hiring creatives or anything, but it's just not needed for us. Maybe we'll get to a point where eventually it is, but now we're over 3 years in, over 700,000 hats sold, and we're still doing it this way because it feels right, and we still have time for it because of how simple we make things. So thank you, everybody, for listening to me yap about creative for this long, and I hope you got some value out of this. My handle on Instagram, where I yap some more, is just the chef, THESZEF, and then Dad Gang is just dadgang.com. If you'd like a hat, be awesome. No pressure. Just check out the community and just look at us for the type of creative we make, because we mix things up a lot and it's fun to just try things. But thank you once again. Super appreciative. It's awesome to be recognized for what we've built, and we feel very blessed to be able to speak to you about it. So thank you once again, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.